Welcome to the course Unix and Shell Programming. Myself, S. Nagamalikras, Assistant Professor CSE Department from Vignan Institute of Information Technology. Today lecture is from Unit 2. The chmod command is nothing but change mode. With the help of change mode command, we are going to change the file permissions. Before that, in previous lecture, we discussed about file command. Consider this example. ls, that means listing the files in our present directory. These all are files that are present in my current directory. File 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5 and dir1, dir2. Like that some files are exist in my current directory. Now with the help of file command, we want to know the file type, which type that is. That means whether that is a regular file or empty file or it is an image file, audio file or PDF file. Like that, if you want to know the file type, with the help of file command, it is possible. So here, this is the file command. I am giving the file name as dir1. I don't know whether that is a directory or ordinary file or it contains data or not. So further, the output is file name directory1 and the type is directory. Like that, with the help of file command, we came to know the file type. dir1 is nothing but directory. Not only that, in the previous lecture we seen so many options that are present in the file command. For example, if we use the option B, file command space option B space dir1, let us see the difference between without option B with option B. If we use the option B, then straight away it will give the file type without any file name. So here without option B, it gives along with the file name and file type. If we use the option B, straight away it will give the file type, that is dir1 is nothing but directory. Another option also is there. For example, if you have more than 10 or 20 files, if you want to know the each and every file type, we have to give file space, file command space file 1, file space file 2, like that we have to give 10 times. If 10 files are there, we have to give 10 times. So it is waste of time. Instead of that, we have the star option. For example, if we give like this, file command space star enter, how many files that are present in my current directory, it returns all file types. For example, here file 1 and it gives the file type, like that file 2 and so on. How many files that are present in my current directory, it gives all file types. So that is the help of star option. If there is no star option, we have to give each and everything separately. File space file 1, file space file 2, file space file 3, like that. So with the help of star option, it will give how many files that are present in my current directory, all return types it will give. Another option is there, range option. Let us see the use of range option. For example, file space what does this mean is file command. This is file command. Here we given file, the range is 223. That means the file name which is started with file and after that range is 223. That means it will use the file type of file 2 and it will use the file type of file 3. It will not give before this one and after this one. So only within specific range only it will use the return type. For that, I will get the output like this, file 2, what is this type, and file 3, it will give the what is that file type. Like that, within the range, it will give like this. If you want all files, we will give star option. If you want within the range, we have to use the range option. So one is option B, second one is star option, and next one range option. And fourth option is there, that is using with file command, option I. For example, file space option I dir1 enter. So if you observe this one and this one, here without option I, the output is in human readable format. If we want output in MIME format, multipurpose internet mail extension, that means nothing but internet standard. If you want the output in internet standard, we have to give option I. That means it will give like this dir1 and in character set it will give like this. So this entire thing is known as MIME format or internet standard. If you want the output in internet standard, we have to use option I. No, if you want a human readable format in ASCII text, then we have to use, without option I, we have to use file command space file name. So these all are the options we discussed in the previous lecture. So now in today's lecture, the change mode command, these are the following topics we are going to discuss. One is about change mode command, and change mode command can be used in two modes. One is absolute mode and second one is symbolic modes. And let us see some examples of change mode command, how we are going to use with the help of these two modes, absolute and symbolic mode. While coming to lecture outcomes, students able to know how security was providing with the help of the file permissions, and students able to know how file permissions are changed with the help of this change mode command with these two modes. Now, why these file permissions came into picture? That means why we have to give the permissions to the users. Before that, we already know Unix is an multi-user operating system. That means more than one user can access the system. So one user can open the file, one user can update his file, one user can execute that file. That means more than one user can access the system. So that is the meaning of multi-user operating system. So how we are going to provide security for our files? Because as we are saying the multi-user operating system, any user can access our data. Unix operating system is preferable for mainframes and servers. So one main challenge is security. So there is a highly chances our data can be changed, our data can be corrupt, our data can be stolen. So based on this, our challenge is how we are going to provide security to our data, because Unix is an multi-user operating system, and not only that, Unix is only one choice that we are going to use in mainframes and servers. So our main challenge is how we are going to provide security for our data. For effective security, Linux divides or Unix divides authorization into two levels. So we are providing authorization in two levels. One is ownership and second one is with the help of permissions. In these two levels, we are going to provide security for our data. Now let us see what is about ownership. After creation of every file on directory, there are three categories of owners can be assigned. Let us see one by one. The first one is user. The first category comes to user. User is nothing but owner of the file. The person who was creating the file, that person is called as owner or user. So by default, the person who created a file becomes its owner. While coming to second category, group. So first one is user and second one is group. While coming to group, a user group can contain multiple users. For example, if a group contains 10 users, whatever the permissions we are assigning, that applicable to all users that are present in the group. For example, assume in this picture, in group they contains 3 users. If you are giving read permission, then that read permission is applicable to all these 3 users. So whatever the permissions we are assigning, that is applicable to all the users that are present in that group. That is meaning of group. So this is the second category of owner, and while coming to third category, others. So a person which is not a owner and which is not belongs to that group, that person is known as others. So outside of the world who is trying to access that file, we can call that person as a others. So like that, for every file, 3 categories of owners are there. One is user, second one is group, and third one is others. Now, okay, while coming to ownership, we discussed about 3 categories are there, user, group, others. While coming to ownership, just now we discussed 3 categories are there. One is user, group, others. Others. Now, how Unix is going to differentiate, or how Unix can be handled with user and group others. Now, permissions will come into the picture. Now, this is the second authorization level, that is permissions. So now we are applying the permissions to all these ownership categories. So now we are applying permissions to the user. Now we are applying the permissions to the group. Now we are applying permissions to others. Like that, in the two authorization levels, one is ownership and second one is permissions. In this way, Unix is going to the separate or differentiate the owners of the file or so permission set in and they define the user's behavior. Let us see how permissions means. So every file and directory we are having three types of permissions. One is read permissions, second one is write permission, and third one is execute permission. Now let us see the first one. Let us see the first one, read permission. So in read permission, if a file having read permission, it indicates, if file having read permission, it indicates a user or group or others. Assume a user or group or others. If the person having read permission to a file, it indicates a user can open the file and he can read the content present in that file. Okay? If having read permission on a file, a user can open the file and he can read the content present in the file. Similarly, now let us see, if directory having read permission, now what we will do? If directory is having read permission, what is the use means? For a file, it is clarity, we can open and we can read the content. While coming to directory, if we have read permission, for example, if directory having file 1, file 2, when we are going to see how many files that are present in directory, if you open the directory, then only we can able to see how many files that are present. So with the help of read permission, we can list the files that are present in the directory. That is the meaning of read permission. If the user having no read permission, that indicates user unable to open the directory. That means he cannot see how many files that are present in the directory. So this is the meaning of read permission. So for a file, he can open and he can read the content. For a directory, read permission means he can see the or he can list the files that are present in the directory. This is all about read permission. So while coming to write permission, if user having write permission on files, what happens? If user having write permission on files, he can update the content that are present in that file. That means on file, he can update the content. When user update the content means if you have the write permission, then only user can change the or he can modify the content. Similarly, let us see the what is the effect of the directory. If directory having write permission, now what is the use means? For example, if directory having the file 1, file 2. If we have write permission, we can add the files into the directory or we can remove the files that are present in directory. For example, if I want to add file 3, so we can add. Why this is possible means we have the write permission. Now I want to remove the file 2 from the directory. It is possible because we are having the write permission. If there is no write permission on the directory, that indicates we unable to delete the file, we unable to add the file because we don't have any write permission. So this is the effect of write permission on files or directory. So on files, we can modify or we can change the content. On directory, we can add or remove the files inside the. And third permission is execute permission. So execute permission means if execute permission is there, then user can run the file or user can execute the file. If there is no execute permission, then a user cannot run the file. That is the meaning of execute permission. Like that, permissions can applicable on the ownership. That means three categories of owners: user, group, others. These three permissions are read permission, write permission, and execute permission. See, in this diagram, assume This is file or directory. If after creation of file or directory, what happens means three categories of ownership will applicable. One is user, second one is group, and third one is others. After that, second level of authentication is applying permissions to the owners of the file or directory. So the permissions are read permission, write permission, execute permission. Like that same set of permissions will also applicable to group, read, write, execute, and also to others, read, write, execute. So these are the two levels. This entire thing is ownership, and this is all permissions. In this way, these are the two authorization levels that we are going to provide security to our data. So let us consider this example. ls option L. We know if we use this option L to the ls command, long listing, that means if you use ls, it will give only the file name. If you use the option L, long listing means 7 parameters of the output it will come. For example, this is permissions, this one is number of links, username, this one is group name, this one is file size, this one is time and date, and last one is file name. Like that, in 7 parameters, option L will give the output. Here, consider this one, permissions. Total 10 hyphens will present, hyphen symbol this one. Total 10 hyphens will exist. Assume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So always first hyphen indicates category. Category in the sense what type of that Unix file is. Whether it is a regular file, or it is a directory, or it is a socket, or it is a symbolic link, or it is a special device file. Like that, based on this first hyphen, we are going to classify the Unix file. For example, here, if you see here, first hyphen is small d. This indicates that is a directory. That means dir1 is a directory. Here also small d. So dir2 is a directory. So d, directory. If it is empty, if it is an empty, that indicates it is an ordinary file or regular file. So empty, 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 empty. That means these all file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5 are regular files or ordinary files. If small l is there, then it indicates symbolic link. In the first hyphen, if it is small s, that indicates socket. If it is small c and small b, this indicates special device files. Like that, first hyphen indicates the categories of Unix file system. Okay, now while coming to remaining 9, the first 3 belongs to the user, next 3 belongs to the group, and last 3 is for others. So already we've seen that ownership of the file is categorized into 3. So these 3 user, next 3 is group, next 3 is others. Okay. Now let us see what is these 3 means. For every owner, we are assigning 3 permissions: read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. For example, if there is no write permission, then only hyphen will exist. If hyphen will exist, we are not giving that permission. For example, let us consider here for this file 1, first hyphen is type of the file. We know this is empty, means that is a regular file or ordinary file. Next, these 3 are belongs to user. What is here permissions? R is there, W is there, hyphen is there. R is there means for a user there is the read permission is there. W means for a user write permission is there. On execute there is a hyphen. If hyphen is there, there is no, we are not giving that permission. So which place that hyphen is there? In the place of execute. So execute means we are with small x, we are indicating execute. For read, small r. For write permission, small w. So this is the order RWX. So at the place of execute, hyphen is there. That means for user there is no the execute permission. Next three is group. For a group, R is there. That means for a group, read permission is there. And in the place of write permission, empty, hyphen is there. That means there is no write permission for group. For execute place also, there is an hyphen that indicates there is no execute permission. So for a group, there is only read permission is there. Like that. Next three is belongs to the others. Here, R is there. That means read permission is there for others. In the place of write permission, hyphen is there. That means no write permission for others. In execute place also, empty hyphen is there. That indicates there is no execute permission for others. So in this way, we are going to analyze. Like that, directory D, directory RWX. For user, read is there, write permission is there, execute permission is there. For group, read permission is there. In place of write, hyphen is there. That means no write permission. And execute permission is there. For others also, read is there, execute is there. In this way, in the first parameter, permissions, in the permissions we are going to analyze which type of file is that and what are the permissions that are for user, group, others.